Have you ever really thought about why something like, say, eye drops or fluids from an IV bag can't just be plain water? It seems like it should be simple.
Right. But our bodies are actually working with this incredibly fine-tuned balance.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into something called tonicity. We want to explore the secrets behind isotonic solutions and figure out what happens when that balance gets thrown off.
That's the plan. Our mission here is really to understand that delicate dance of fluids moving in and out of our cells.
And why messing that up can be a problem.
Precisely. And grasping this is, well, it's fundamental to understanding how a lot of medicines actually work safely inside you.
Okay, so you mentioned our bodies need this precise balance. Let's start there. What exactly is an isotonic solution? What does that term mean?
Okay, yeah, so isotonic, if you break it down, iso basically means same, and tonic relates to concentration, or more technically, osmotic pressure.
So same concentration, same pressure.
Essentially, yes. An isotonic solution has the same osmotic pressure and roughly the same solute concentration as a reference solution, like the fluid inside your red blood cells. Osmotic pressure, that's the key force here, pulling water across membranes.
So it's about making sure water doesn't get pulled out of cell or rush into them, keeping things stable.
You got it. Our body fluids, blood, tears, you name it, they naturally sit at an osmotic pressure that matches a 0.9% weight per volume solution of sodium chloride. Just salt water, basically, but at a very specific concentration.
0.9%, okay.
And that's why it's so crucial for anything we apply to delicate spots like our eyes, inside the nose, or, directly into the bloodstream via an IV.
Because it won't cause irritation.
Exactly. Isotonic solutions don't make the tissues swell up or shrink down, and importantly, they don't cause discomfort. That 0.9% sodium chloride solution, it's often called physiological saline.
Or normal saline, I've heard that too.
Right, same thing. Normal saline solution.
Yep.
And the proof is simple. Put red blood cells in it and they just sit there. No change in size or shape, perfectly balanced.
Okay, that covers the just right zone.
Mm-hmm.
But what if a solution isn't isotonic? What happens at the extremes? Let's say it's too concentrated.
Right, so if you have a solution with a greater concentration than what's inside your cells, we call that hypertonic. Think hyper, like more.
Okay, hypertonic.
Now imagine putting red blood cells into, say, a 2% sodium chloride solution. That's much saltier than the 0.9% baseline.
Right.
Osmosis kicks in hard. Water gets pulled out of the red blood cells, moving towards the higher salt concentration outside.
So they shrink.
They shrink dramatically, yeah. They shrivel up and get all wrinkled.
Yeah.
The technical term for this process is plasmolysis.
Plasmolysis, got it. Okay, so what about the other way around? A solution that's less concentrated than our cells?
That's what we call a hypotonic solution. Hypo meaning less or under.
Like if you used much weaker saline or even pure water.
Exactly. If you put red blood cells into, let's say, a boiling 0.1% sodium chloride solution or distilled water, now the water concentration is much higher outside the cell than inside.
So water rushes in.
Correct. Water floods into the red blood cells, causing them to swell up and up.
Oh, no.
And eventually they can burst. They rupture, releasing all the hemoglobin inside. This bursting is called hemolysis.
Hemolysis. Wow. That sounds pretty serious, especially if we're talking about IV fluids.
Oh, absolutely. Getting the tonicity wrong with IV fluids, causing significant hemolysis, can be a major medical issue. It can lead to kidney damage, other organ problems. It really highlights why precision is so vital.
Okay, this is fascinating. But hang on, you mentioned osmotic pressure earlier. Is it possible for two solutions to have the same osmotic pressure but still not be, truly identical in how they affect cells?
Oh, yes. That's a really important subtle distinction. This is where we differentiate between isotonic and isoosmotic.
Isoosmotic. Okay, what's the difference?
So isoosmotic solutions have the same osmotic pressure measured by instruments, but they don't necessarily have the same concentration of solutes or even the same type of solutes.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A good one is boric acid. A 2% weight per volume solution of boric acid actually has the same measured osmotic pressure as our standard 0.9% sodium chloride solution.
So they're isoosmotic.
They are isoosmotic, yes, but they are not isotonic. Boric acid interacts with cell membranes differently than sodium chloride does. You might use boric acid solution in some eye drops where it's safe, but you wouldn't inject it into the bloodstream like you would normal saline.
Wow, okay, so isotonic is more specific to the biological effect, not just the raw pressure reading.
Exactly. Isotonic implies biological compatibility, no net water movement across the cell membrane. Isoosmotic just means the pressures match on paper or in an osmometer. It's a crucial difference in pharmacology.
Right. So with all this precision needed, how do scientists actually check if a new drug solution, for instance, is isotonic? How do they measure this?
Well, one classic way, though maybe less common for primary testing now, is the hemolytic method.
Based on the hemolysis you mentioned earlier.
Pretty much. The basic idea is you take red blood cells and you observe them under a microscope after exposing them to various concentrations of the drug solution you're testing.
And you just look to see if they shrink or burst.
Essentially, yeah. If the cells don't change shape or size compared to cells in known isotonic saline, then your test solution is considered isotonic at that concentration.
Seems straightforward, if a bit visual.
It gives you a direct biological observation. But for more quantitative, precise measurements, especially today, labs often use an instrument called hematocrit.
Hematocrit.
Yeah, you measure the volume the red blood cells occupy after being centrifuged. It's called the packed cell volume, or PCV. You compare the PCV of cells in your test solution to the PCV of cells in the standard 0.9% saline. If the volumes match, it suggests it's isotonic. And of course, there are osmometers that directly measure osmotic pressure very accurately.
So multiple ways to ensure things are just right.
Definitely. Precision is key.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening?
Well,
it shows this incredible, invisible balancing act constantly happening in your body, whether it's just using eye drops or needing medical fluids. There's some serious science ensuring everything stays in equilibrium.
it really is fundamental, and it makes you think. If just a small shift in the concentration of simple salt water can have such dramatic effects on our cells, what other subtle, invisible chemical balances are crucial for our health every single day?
That's a great point.
What other delicate systems are working perfectly in the background that maybe we take for granted? Something to ponder.